things that are known in the Midwest, the Midwest goodbye. You want to explain what that is?
The Midwest goodbye is when you say goodbye and then you start talking a little bit more.
And it can last hours, the Midwest goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, you're ready to go, but all of a sudden your coat's on. You got to keep the coat on.
Hello and welcome to the Worldwide Honeymoon Travel Podcast, the podcast that talks about all things couples travel, including destinations, tips, advice, and more. I'm Kat.
I'm Chris.
And this is episode number 216.
As a resident of a flyover state, how did you prepare for today?
By just flying over the state. No, yeah, this one's tough. Not in the way that that I thought that, I can't find anything to do in these places. I think Ohio is a challenge because I live here, so there's a lot of cool things to do here. I know I'm going to find that difficult when it comes to Kentucky as well. But yeah, I mean, there are some places that they are kind of in the middle of nowhere and it's hard to find certain things, but I feel like I just sort of approached it like I did the West. Some is a little bit more general. Some are very, very specific. But what was fun in preparing for this episode was that, we, oh my gosh, if I can get my words together here. I think what was really fun about preparing for this episode was finding things in the Midwest to do, because I think that the Midwest is the region I think that it is most famously known as being the quote unquote flyover states. Oh. Yeah, it's like, the heartland of America, the flyover states, and as a resident of a flyover state, yeah, I mean, that sucks, but there's hidden gems that, because it's a quote-unquote flyover state, that a lot of people don't go and see because they don't really visit these areas very often. So, yeah, a lot of good hidden gems in here, I would say.
I'm looking at the list here,
okay,
and we're going to be talking about 12 states today. Mm-hmm. This was difficult for me because I have spent 48 hours or more in only, I think, 4, maybe 5 of these states.
Okay.
How about you?
I've been in 7. Yeah.
Well, so there's no surprise there that you've traveled more places than I have.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was tough. It was tough from a perspective of having to research more, I think.
Yeah.
But not necessarily tough from where am I going to pick? Because as soon as I was researching, I was like, okay, this would be a pretty fun week, what have you.
You know what surprised me is when you think of the Dakotas, you don't really think of anything, but once I started researching, oh my goodness, so much nature.
Both Dakotas,
yeah.
I knew what I was going to pick right away.
I knew one of them, and then the other one, I had to look it up, and then I was like, oh my gosh, now I can't choose between a few. Now I have to choose between a couple of things. So yeah, but do you just want to kick it off and get started with today's episode, or do you have any highlights since we recorded yesterday? You know,
my highlight within the past 24 hours was getting to walk home from work today.
Yeah, Christopher, you like to walk home from work on nice days.
Yeah, and it's a quick walk. It's only about a little over 9 miles, and normally if the weather is above 10 degrees, Kat will make me walk there and walk back.
Uphill both ways.
Both
shoes.
Ways. No, it was actually it was a beautiful day. It's only about 1.5 miles. Yeah. And it was just beautiful. It really was.
We're going to go for a walk after this.
Yeah, and I got
walks.
I got to see one of the ships. I feel like I'm like a 3-year-old. I got to see one of the ships going underneath one of the lift bridges. Oh,
did you see an airplane too in the sky?
Nope, not today, but maybe tomorrow. But yeah, I always love that because I'm always I have my route that I go home where I will not be affected by said lift bridges. Mm-hmm. But there have been times where I have taken different routes home and I was stopped continuously by lift bridges not being where I needed them to be.
I remember years ago, we were walking, I think, back to your place, and we had to cross one of the lift bridges, and we were stuck on the other side of the bridge. and that's how we found a brewery.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, okay, well, we'll just grab a drink and hang out here for a bit because it's going to be like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So.
Do you have a highlight in the past 24 hours?
I mean, not that I can really think of.
Other than when I came home from work.
Yeah.
All right. So,
I mean, I guess it was nice to sort of relax Sunday night together. Yeah.
That was
we
nice,
all snuggled, us and Professor, our cat. If you guys are new to our channel, our cat's name is Professor. So that was nice to have a little lazy Sunday after recording.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so today's episode, we are continuing a listener-recommended series, One Thing to Do in Every State. We used a map from National Geographic to kind of split up the country into different regions, and in episode 214, we did the Southwest. In episode 215, we did the West, and in this episode, we are going to talk about the Midwest. So,
let me squeeze right past you there.
The most polite region, if I do say so myself.
I think so. Very, very polite. There's things that are known in the Midwest. The Midwest goodbye. You want to explain what that is?
The Midwest goodbye is when you say goodbye, and then you start talking a little bit more.
And it can last hours. The Midwest goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's you're ready to go, but all of a sudden your coat's on. You gotta keep the coat on. Mm-hmm. That is the key to a successful goodbye. As soon as you take that coat back off,
you're there for
another hour,
a decade.
All of a sudden you're voting in a different district. It's just a mess.
Yes. Lots of, I like on TikTok, there's the Midwestern mom that's salads that aren't really salads.
Oh gosh.
Like all sorts of random salads.
The best was we had a salad growing up called 7-layer salad. Mm-hmm. Okay. One of the layers was just mayonnaise.
Oh, lots of mayonnaise in the Midwest. Cream cheese and mayonnaise.
Another layer of the salad, bacon. Okay, so
that's fitting.
There's 2 of the 7 layers right there. The third layer?
Cheese.
Yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I mean, you've got Wisconsin is known for cheese, you know.
There was also lettuce in the salad. I dearly loved this salad.
Iceberg lettuce.
Oh, it was, I just also love the Midwest casseroles.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to make a casserole, and it's start with a cup of mayo. Start with
a block of cream cheese, a stick of butter, and a can each of cream of celery, cream of mushroom, and cream of chicken soup. And it's like, you know what? Yeah.
Sign me up.
I mean, outside of like the bigger cities, there's obviously some great places to eat because Cleveland, we got pierogies. That's always fantastic. There are barbecue spots that are fantastic in the Midwest.
I like the Midwest.
Yeah. I mean, it's not all bad food and stuff. We're just not known necessarily for all of our culinary creations with the casseroles.
Are you? I would put Midwest food up against anyone else's. Sorry.
No, the South.
You're cooking here.
The South.
I don't know. Before we get into today's episode, are you still confident on your approach?
Yes.
You're not wavering at all?
I don't think so.
At all?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was looking at my Southwest and West episodes, and I was like, dang, I have a lot of nature, a lot of outdoors time. And I hate to break it to you, but I'm going to continue with a lot of outdoors time in this episode as well.
I have mostly outdoors. I think I've got a couple of like city stuff too. So.
Ooh, I worked in some cities as well. Alrighty, let's go ahead and jump into it. First state here, and I think we're just going to go alphabetically if we did the same thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Illinois.
Illinois, yes. So Illinois is it's Chicago. It's the biggest city in the Midwest. That is here. I didn't do all of Chicago because that would be kind of, I feel like cheating in a way.
Well,
no,
I did all of Chicago.
Did you really?
Well, let's talk about this.
No. Well, let me talk about mine because mine is one specific thing in Chicago.
Well, that's how mine started, but then I was
and
like, hold on.
But now I got to add this.
Well,
and this
no,
and this.
I remember that I remember that in the suggestion they said a city, and I was like, well, this is going to be easy.
Check.
I
did not do that. In Chicago, I chose Chicago's #1 attraction and one of my favorite art museums, the Art Institute of Chicago.
That is exactly what I wrote down first.
Mm-hmm. And then you decided to dive deeper.
Just throw in all of Chicago.
Okay, well, I'll just talk about the Art Institute. Again, I think it is my favorite art museum in the United States.
I agree.
One of my favorites in the world. It's fantastic. It's nicely done. It's a very large museum. Has art from all over the world.
That was such a Midwest review. It's nicely done.
It is nicely done.
I know.
It's got some very iconic paintings, such as The Bedroom by Van Gogh. My favorite painting by George Seurat, A Sunday on Le Grand Jatte. And that's a pointillism painting. It is massive. I remember going to Paris and going to the Louvre and d'Orsay and trying to find this because I knew he was a French painter, and then realizing it was in Chicago in the Art Institute. So I was like, whoops.
Yeah.
And then I finally got to go to Chicago and see it. The Old Guitarist by Picasso is also there. American Gothic by Grant Wood. That's an iconic painting. But so many famous paintings and other artworks from ancient Greece to Japan to the famed Impressionists and Post-Impressionists. So very, very, very much worth going to go and see in Illinois, especially if you're in Chicago.
Yes. So that was the main reason I chose Chicago as well, the Art Institute of Chicago. It is my favorite art museum within the States as well. Mm-hmm. But you also have a lot of other attractions in Chicago, such as Navy Pier. You have the zoo, you have the Shedd Aquarium, you have Lake Michigan, and in the summer you have like the air shows. Obviously, you have all of the dining.
The beaches.
You have the beaches. Are you a Chicago deep dish pizza girl?
Yes, but only when I'm in Chicago. You know what I mean? Like it just feels right there.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I don't like a sloppy deep dish.
No. Oh gosh, no.
If it's runny and if it's like I like a nice tight casserole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's nothing
like
on
a deep
Detroit
dish.
pizza. That's my
Detroit
favorite.
style pizza is fantastic.
That is my favorite style of pizza.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you've never had deep dish pizza, it is essentially a very thick like pie. It's like a pizza pie.
It's a pizza casserole.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's more like a pie. You have the crust, then it is filled with the sauce, and it's topped with the cheese. So it is, or no, opposite. It's topped with the sauce. So you have like the cheese and the fillings and then the sauce on top. It's a whole thing. It's good. It's delicious. It's good when the crust is nice and flaky and buttery and isn't soggy. No soggy bottoms here.
No soggy bottoms.
From the sauce.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Anything else about the Art Institute or Chicago broadly?
I've heard fantastic things about the architecture cruise. Everybody
Oh,
recommends
yeah,
that.
I've
I mean, the
never done
architecture in
that.
Chicago is wonderful.
Okay.
It's a very artistic city. It's a very clean city for the most part. As far as cities go, especially in the US, like compared to like New York and like LA and stuff, like it's much, much cleaner. Beautiful city. Definitely worth going to. It's right on the lake with great beaches. So highly recommend Chicago. Great shopping too with the Magnificent Mile and stuff. Yeah.
Alrighty. Our next state is Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
I chose Indiana Dunes National Park.
I chose the same thing.
Hey,
Yeah.
we're 2 for 2.
Look at us.
This is a stark contrast from last episode.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Indiana Dunes National Park is known for approximately 15 miles of beachfront on Lake Michigan. It offers hiking options. One of the more popular ones is Dune Ridge, which is actually a hiking path that is in a forest that is on a dune.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's that song like, she swallowed a horse to catch the cow, to catch the dog, to catch the cat that swallowed the fly. Do you know that song?
I've never heard of that song until you just said that.
You are missing out. Do you want to pause it so you can listen to
No,
it
I'm
now, or
good.
do you want to listen to it later?
I'm good.
All right. But yes, so Dune Ridge, forest on a dune. There is also the lakefront and the river walk. There's the opportunity for swimming. It is known for spectacular sunsets.
Mm-hmm.
And there is also the Century of Progress Historical District. Did you?
What is that? No, I don't know what that is.
Allow me.
Okay.
It has historical and futuristic homes, like what homes would look like in the future, and you can kind of go and kind of explore that, which I think is kind of cool. But yeah, Indiana Dunes National Park. Do you have anything to add there?
No, I think you pretty much covered it. It does have a lot of different scenery as far as forests, prairies, swamps, savannas, and wetlands to explore. So it's not just the dunes, but the dunes are definitely the biggest draw. They're very large and, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a newer national park as well within the last, 10 years.
Yeah, within the past century. Yeah.
Okay.
Number 3 is
Iowa. Iowa. Anyway, what is your number one thing to do in Iowa?
I wish that you could just like live in the Music Man. Maybe that is what.
Just the Music Man. Just
the
fact that it was.
Watch the Music Man. It takes place where?
In Iowa.
Iowa.
Oh, we got trouble.
My top thing to do in Iowa is the Field of Dreams movie site.
I knew you were going to pick that.
So you purposefully didn't pick it. Is that right?
Yes.
Hold on. If you know that I'm going to pick something, even if it's the best thing in the state.
No, I'm not terribly as interested or invested in baseball or that movie. So like, it's not my favorite thing to do, but I knew you were going to pick that.
Or the red, white, and blue or apple pie. This is America, sweetheart. And This is baseball.
There's a lot of countries whose flag is red, white, and blue.
Not like ours.
Okay.
The Field of Dreams movie site. You have the opportunity to tour the field. You can stay there. There's the opportunity to...
So you can actually tour it and you can dream on the Field of Dreams or at the Field of Dreams.
Perhaps daydream?
But you said you could stay there.
I believe you can stay there, yes.
Oh, okay.
You can tour the house. There's the opportunity, I believe, to see games. I know that there's like a big league field and then the movie site. I don't know if you can, I can't remember if you can go to the big league field or not, or if you can tour that one outside of a game. I don't know. But the Field of Dreams, I feel like have you seen the movie?
No.
What?
I know. I guess we gotta go see it.
Okay. So a couple things right after this episode. We're making a casserole. We're watching.
We're not making a casserole.
We're making a casserole. We're watching Field of Dreams. And we are going to play the...
I would rather just can we just have cheese curds?
The old lady who swallowed a horse to swallow a cow song. Wow, this is shaping up to be an exciting evening.
Christopher was raised in the Midwest, so this is just very exciting for him.
Thank you, Midwest.
I'm a Midwest transplant.
Yeah, and we say you're welcome.
Okay.
But yeah, that's my Iowa. What's your Iowa?
All right. My Iowa is I'm sorry, I'm going to try to pronounce this the best I can, but Muckalcuta Caves State Park.
That is much more difficult to pronounce than Field of Dreams movie site.
I know, but it's a cave system state park. There are 13 caves in this park. There's a natural bridge. There are beautiful overlooks. You can actually hike this 6-mile trail system that links these caves and overlooks and things like that. So very beautiful area to just explore in Iowa. It's a beautiful nature area, and I can imagine that it cannot be that crowded. Because I'm sure, have you heard of it before I said this?
I have not, no.
No, so it's probably really only known to people in Iowa, so that's definitely a place to go check out, especially if you're doing a road trip. Like my brother loves doing road trips. He wants to see every state and does all these road trips and will stop in smaller places like state parks and things like that just to check it out. And this just seems like right up his alley of a place that he would want to go check out with his family.
Agreed.
Yeah, for sure.
Number 4 is Kansas.
Yeah.
What is your top thing to do in Kansas?
This one's going to be a little bit more general.
And it is?
Barbecue in Kansas City.
Okay.
Yeah. What were you? Okay. Barbecue.
Go for it.
Yeah. Kansas
Sell
City
me on this.
is very, very famous for its barbecue. Also jazz. But the barbecue, it's said to have where burnt ends were kind of invented. Have you heard of burnt ends?
I have heard of
Yeah,
burnt
they're
ends.
like the crispy, delicious, like very like dense,
It's
spicy.
like, yeah, it's the end, and then typically it's a little overcooked.
Well, it's not necessarily burnt. I just feel like there's more like seasoning and things on it too. And,
Sure.
And sure, it is a little crispy, but it's not like burnt, like charred all the way through. Very flavorful, very delicious. They're, I'm trying to look up all the different Kansas barbecue styles, but apparently it's just these days doing a little bit of everything and doing it very well. But some places to check out include Joe's Kansas City Barbecue, Chef Jay Barbecue, Arthur Bryant's Barbecue, things like that. But it's definitely well worth trying as many barbecue joints as you possibly can when you're in Kansas City, because it's a very big popular place for barbecue. And there's quite a few states, especially in the South, that also do barbecue, but Kansas City is definitely one of the top contenders to do that. So if you're ever in Kansas City, definitely explore it by mouth, by eating barbecue.
Thank you for clarifying.
Okay.
All right. My top thing to do in Kansas City is visiting Topeka.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Topeka?
I have heard of Topeka.
What is Topeka?
It's a city in Kansas.
The capital
Yes.
of Kansas. I also wrote down Kansas barbecue here, but there are a ton of museums in Topeka. Okay, so there is the Evel Knievel Museum.
Mm-hmm.
Does that not just? I mean, that's like a slice of apple pie right there.
Okay.
Do you know who Evel Knievel is?
Yeah, wasn't he like a stunt guy?
Yeah, the Daredevil guy.
Yeah.
There's also Heartland Park, which is auto racing. They have art museums, history museums. They have the Kansas National Guard Museum. And then there's also, I'm a sucker for U.S. history.
Yeah.
There is the Brown versus Board of Education National Historical Park.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not dedicated, but it's there to symbolize the Brown versus Board of Education case, which ended segregation in public schools.
Nice.
Yeah. So Topeka, Kansas is
Kansas.
my number one.
Okay. Next up is Michigan.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Michigan, I was going back and forth between two things. And I wrote one down, crossed it out, wrote down the other one, and like had it all mapped out, crossed it out, and went back to my first one.
And what is it?
It is Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore. Is that yours?
No.
Is yours Traverse City?
No.
Oh, okay. Those were my two. So, so Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore. That is a tongue twister.
Mm-hmm.
Offers a bunch of opportunities for hiking, camping, ice climbing, snowshoeing. Some of the more popular activities, though, are kayaks, boating, cruising past the Pictured Rocks, which are the cliffs that can turn red, orange, blue, brown, black, white, etc., depending upon the different minerals and that sort of thing. There's also the opportunity to spend time on the beaches. There's waterfalls around. There's dunes. There's lakes. And get this, there is also scuba diving opportunities.
In the lake?
No, it's just on land here. You just go right into the rock. Yes, water is, it is not BYOW. They do have it there, and you are welcome to use it. What is your top Michigan thing?
Mine is Mackinac Island.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it is it feels very Americana. There are no cars allowed on the island.
Ah.
Yeah, a lot of horse and buggy, but it is known for the Mackinac Island State Park, so lots of beautiful nature and stuff as well. It's an island, so beaches and things, but it's an island in Lake Huron between Michigan's upper and lower peninsulas. And if you guys have heard of the upper peninsula in Michigan, it is stunning. It almost looks like you're in the middle of the Caribbean with crystal clear water, even though it's quite cold. But area, it's got Arch Rock, which is very beautiful area. The Grand Hotel is a must see. And then, it's a very iconic island to go visit.
I've heard really good things
Michigan.
about Mackinac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Number 6 is Minnesota.
And we probably chose the same thing.
What did you choose?
Voyagers.
No.
You didn't choose Voyagers National Park?
I did not. What did I say at the top of the episode? Dang, I have a lot of nature.
That
I'm
is
looking
nature.
I know, but I'm looking for more Americana.
Because we're in the Midwest.
You said it.
Okay.
All right, tell me about Voyagers, because this is what I was originally going to pick.
This is a more remote national park. So great stargazing opportunities. There we go. But it is a place that you can do some boat charters to explore all the nooks and crannies, watch the stars, like I said. It's a place for great hiking, and in the winter there is skiing and snowshoeing. But it's a very remote, beautiful place to go and check out in upper Minnesota.
We
quite
were
cold.
We were looking at Voyagers
We were.
3 years ago when we went to Vermont.
Yeah,
But-
we were looking I can't talk today. At either going out west to the Dakotas or, to Voyagers in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I chose the Mall of America.
Ah, yeah. I've been there.
What all did you do there?
I got Shake Shack and I just walked around. I mean, it's a mall. It's a giant mall.
It's a mall. Sit back and relax, okay, Catherine? There are opportunities for shopping. There is an amusement park inside of it.
There's like a roller coaster.
There are over 50 restaurants. There are entertainment and live shows. There is an aquarium. They have concerts. On the 4th floor, I believe, there is a carnival area that offers both fun carnival games and typical state fair food.
Okay, well, maybe I didn't explore it that much. I was there for work, and we just visited after work one day and got dinner and walked around.
Did you go on any of the rides?
No, you gotta pay for that.
Did you see any of the shows?
No, you gotta pay for those.
Did you just park and be like, I'm here?
No, we walked around.
Did you buy anything?
Shake Shack.
Oh my
And maybe some
gosh.
candy. I don't know. It was
Mall of America.
Mall of America. Maybe I need to go back. Maybe I did it wrong.
What is your top thing to do in our next state of Missouri?
Missouri is the Gateway Arch National Park.
That is correct. I also picked St. Louis.
Yeah. Well, it's in St. Louis.
Broadly. I know, but that was what I picked it for.
Yeah.
Tell us about the Gateway Arch. Have you been up in it?
I did not go in it, but I went to go visit a friend of mine that was at that she was in law school and stuff out in
This is like
St.
the Mall
Louis.
of America incident all over again.
No, but it's cool to just go visit too. We just didn't go up inside of it, but it's
just wow.
You can walk to it, and it's right in the middle of St. Louis, so it's really cool to see. But it is near the starting point of the Lewis and Clark expedition. It is the biggest attraction in Missouri, and it is known as the Gateway to the West. But it is about 630 feet tall, or 192 meters tall, and it's a big arch.
It is a big arch. As someone who has summited it.
Oh, you have gone up it before. Yeah, you guys used to go to St. Louis all the time as kids, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have been up in the arch. You go up, you look around, and you come down.
But I bet there's some cool views from it.
Very cool
Yeah.
views. And it's just neat to kind of be up there. I remember feeling the wind, and I remember feeling it moving.
I wonder if that's how people think of the Eiffel Tower. You climb up there, you see it, and you just come back down.
One of the things that I it's probably very similar to the Eiffel Tower, is when you think of Paris, what do you think of?
The Eiffel Tower.
Okay. And
Yeah.
when you think of St. Louis, what do you think of?
The arch.
And if you're in that structure and
You
you're
don't see
looking
it.
out at the skyline, you
Yeah.
don't see it.
It almost looks unrecognizable.
Yes.
But I've never been in the Eiffel Tower for that very reason. I like to go up the Arc de Triomphe over top of some...
Can you bring it back to the Midwest here?
Okay. Sorry. I guess I could talk about Paris all the time.
Any
but
chance to slip France in?
Okay.
But yeah, I chose St. Louis more broadly. So Gateway Arch, there's also the opportunity to see professional sports teams, St. Louis Cardinals, St. Louis Blues. They also have an amusement park, Six Flags. I kind of focused more on
the zoo is really nice.
okay, well,
Yeah.
I will. The zoo is really nice. They also have museums. They have art. There's Forest Park. The City Museum sounds pretty cool. It is. It has a whole bunch of stuff made from recycled and found objects that are interactive. So there's tunnels and that kind of stuff, which is pretty cool. So yeah, St. Louis as a whole was mine. State 8.
North Dakota.
Nebraska.
Actually, Nebraska. Sorry. Now that I'm looking at the two of them, got it.
Okay. What is your top thing to do in Nebraska?
Chimney Rock National Historic Site.
Hit me with it.
Okay. I had to do some research.
Hold on,
for
this
Nebraska.
was adorable because when I said hit me with it, you started like flapping your arms and you got really excited.
I was trying to get my pull up my sleeves, or push up my sleeves. Chimney Rock National Historic Site. So Nebraska, I'm not gonna lie, I had to kind of do some research on, and this actually looked really cool. It is a giant rises 300 feet above the surrounding area, and it is a big skinny rock. But it looks really cool. It's just flat, and then there's the big skinny rock. But it just kind of juts out of nowhere in the prairie. It's just a big rock. Big rock formation. It's a very long, skinny rock formation, but it is a really cool sight to see in the area. And you're in the prairie, so there's, the flora and fauna, as I've said many times in episodes, of that area. So...
My top thing in Nebraska is Carhenge. Did you see this in your research?
Briefly.
Billed as Nebraska's answer to Stonehenge,
because Nebraska needed an answer for Stonehenge.
I'll let you know something right now. This is a little tip about me. Whenever anyone is going to bill themselves as blank's answer to blank, sign me up. Take my money. I will always go see that.
Okay.
Carhenge is literally a giant 2-scale sculpture, replica sort of thing of Stonehenge, built using automobiles.
And let me ask, do they know how it was built?
They don't know.
They don't know.
Yeah. But that is my top thing. Originally, I was going to go with, I believe it's Alliance, Nebraska, that it is, that Carhenge is in. And they had a frontier town as well. But when I was doing my research, it looked like it had closed permanently, unfortunately. But I was going to kind of tie all of that. But Carhenge, Nebraska's answer to Stonehenge.
Okay.
Now we can talk about North Dakota.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. And do we have the same thing here?
Theodore Roosevelt National Park.
Teddy.
Old Ted.
The only national park named after an individual.
Oh, I did not realize that.
Theodore Roosevelt National Park. It offers scenic drives, 100 miles of trails, the Badlands, and Badlands are dry terrain with eroded rock, soil, sediment, all of that kind of stuff.
Really cool at sunrise and sunset.
Yes. Yeah. Reds, browns, oranges, that sort of thing. It also offers an abundance of wildlife. Bison, pronghorn, elk, mule deer, coyote, feral horses. What? Bald eagles and falcons.
And don't forget that they have prairie dog towns.
They do have prairie dog
I guess that's
towns.
what they call a big conglomerate of prairie dogs living in their little holes together. Is a prairie dog town. So you can see all these little prairie dogs. So that's adorable. But yeah, bison, bighorn sheep, moose, all that stuff. Great opportunity to go see some bison, which is an extremely large animal if you haven't seen them. Also some other key points, the Petrified Forest Loop, Painted Canyon Nature Trail, and the Oxbow Overlook are some great things to see in Theodore Roosevelt National Park.
All right.
Yeah.
The heart of it all. State 10.
Okay.
Ohio.
Why don't you go first for this one? Because I feel like
what did you pick?
You want me to go?
Yes. What did you pick for Ohio? There is a right answer.
I had a hard time choosing because there are so many great things to do in Ohio.
A hard time choosing?
Well, at this point, I have lived in Columbus, Cincinnati, and Cleveland. Okay. I've seen a lot of Ohio. Okay. There's Hocking Hills, there's Cuyahoga Valley National Park, but something I really enjoy here in Cleveland is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I am going to join you in this one.
That's your answer too?
My answer is Cleveland.
Okay. Well, let me talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. At this point, I've been many times because anytime we have a friend or family member visit us, we go there. And honestly, I enjoy it every single time.
I do too.
It is such a nicely done museum. No, They have, you can see the Hall of Fame there, of course, but you have the old American Bandstand. There's a theater. You can just sit there and watch the whole thing for like hours. It's like all these famous playbacks of American Bandstand, which was an old show with lots of singers and bands and things like that playing. So really cool. Lots of memorabilia, lots of history. And then there's also, I really like the outfits. Like it has Lady Gaga's meat costume. It has so many crazy costumes. I think it has Michael Jackson's like glove, his white glove.
Beyonce's dress.
Beyonce's,
Yeah.
like she had like, I forget which iconic
Her
outfit.
only dress.
I mean, it's got like something from one of Taylor Swift's tours. I mean, there's like so many really cool things to see. And then it even has like throwbacks from like, you know, how rock and roll started and like, you know, Detroit being Rock City and like all of that stuff. And yeah, it's a cool place to check out. Cool architecture too. It's shaped like a pyramid. And then you have the Long Live Rock out front to take a photo.
Lake right behind it.
Lake is right behind it because it's right next to the lake. So really, really cool museum to go to.
Yeah. But that's not the only reason to visit Cleveland. You have the Cleveland Museum of Art.
Yep.
Fantastic art museum. I love the Cleveland Museum of Art. Cleveland has 3 professional sports teams, which is pretty sweet. Cuyahoga Valley National Park is close by. You have Lake Erie. You have Little Italy. You have Asiatown. You also have one of the country's best theater districts. Mm-hmm. Great food. A lot of celebrity chefs got their start in Cleveland, and they still have roots and kitchens here.
We have James Beard Award winning chefs. Yeah.
Just a great, great time in Cleveland, Ohio. That I was.
We're here. No.
If you were going to say anything but something in Cleveland, I was going to walk out.
I mean, I'm sure people in Ohio have their favorite things to do in Ohio as well. But yeah, cool neighborhoods too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, number 11 is South Dakota.
South Dakota.
And are we going to talk about the same thing here as well?
The Badlands National Park.
Yes. You did not sound confident about that.
Well,
though.
I thought, because I think with South Dakota, I was trying to decide between that and Custer State Park.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went with Badlands National Park as well, though.
Yeah.
Big draw for me here is the night sky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very remote out there. So you can see, I mean, these places are incredible for the night sky. When we say it, it's not just like, oh, a couple stars. Like you can see like the Milky Way on a clear night. Like that's how clear the night sky is. It is absolutely stunning. So 100% worth going to just for the night sky. But lots of great rock formations. I mean, it looks otherworldly. It's literally the Badlands. So you have great sunrises and sunsets. And so lots of colors sort of dancing and bouncing off of the rock formations during that time. Great wildlife as well. Bison, bighorn sheep, more prairie dogs. There's the fossil exhibit trail with displays of fossils that were found in the park, which is pretty cool.
Did I ever tell you that when I was little, I wanted to be a paleontologist?
That's cool. Did you see Jurassic Park and you were like, Jeff Goldblum?
No. This was like even before that. I just like loved dinosaurs. This is actually very embarrassing.
Oh, yeah. We have like your old dinosaur toys under our bed. Like under our guest bedroom bed. Well, it's just for when my nephews,
like
come.
Yeah.
They have something to play with.
But I loved dinosaurs as a kid. Mm-hmm. So much so that like our bank had this program where that's how I got all these dinosaurs.
The Dino Savings Program?
The Dino Saver. So you like put $10 in a savings account each month and you get one of these dinosaur toys. And I was like, this is great. I have no idea how to spell dinosaur, but this looks close enough. So I start writing all over the place like, Dino Savers are cool.
Nerd.
Like the T-Rex is my favorite Dino Saver. And then it was to the point where like I was like putting pieces of like printer paper together and like making my own little like border around my room of all of these different like dinosaur drawings. Mm-hmm. On every single one of them, I put the word Dino Saver instead of dinosaur, and I trashed my entire. It was so bad. It was one of the most crushing moments. I remember you
thought that's how dinosaurs were spelled?
I didn't know how to spell it yet, but they always had a picture of a dinosaur, and then underneath of it said Dino Saver.
That is really cute. But
So, and then I was just like horribly embarrassed. And I mean, God bless my parents for not being like, hey, that's not how you spell it. And just letting my creative juices flow.
Dino self flow.
Yeah, it was my it was a quick
I think it's
introduction to the rise and fall of art in my life.
Yeah. I think to be a paleontologist, you do have to know how to spell the word dinosaur.
You know, I do now.
Oh,
So,
that's good. That's good. That's
yes.
a relief.
But back to Badlands National
Yeah.
Park. There's also the opportunity for a lot of scenic drives. And I like to mention that a lot when we're talking about national parks, because you and I absolutely love hiking, but there is also something to just being able to like drive through it, look around, and
there's usually stop off points as
and
well.
have the AC on and snacks.
I do
And
love snacks.
Badlands Loop Road is one of the more popular scenic drives. So I did want to mention that here. Last state,
Yes.
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
What I mean, I love Wisconsin.
Your family is from Wisconsin.
My family's from Wisconsin.
So we've spent quite a bit of time in
We
Wisconsin.
went to Milwaukee yearly growing up. Milwaukee is a fantastic city.
It is.
Did you choose Milwaukee?
No.
I didn't either.
I chose Door County.
I chose Door County as well.
Nice.
Yes.
Your parents go to Door County quite a bit.
I've been to Door County.
You've been to Door County. Okay.
Yeah.
Scenic drives. I know it's known for its cherries.
It is known for its cherries.
Yeah. Lighthouses. There are wineries. You can go boating there. There are also orchards. And then it's also known for the Whitefish Dune State Park. It's little dunes.
Yes.
Very beautiful. It's a peninsula. Correct?
It is. It's a peninsula between Green Bay and Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
And like you said, known for cherries, known for nature. There's a lot of shops, parks. There were there's a
Cute
lot of
small
like
towns.
yes,
Yeah.
freshwater fish, freshwater, not seafood, but like, you know what I mean? Like fish boils,
Lake
that kind
food.
of stuff. Lake food. Something cool about Door County, in addition to everything that we have already mentioned here, is another fantastic area for the night sky. So much so that you can, at like the right time of year, you can see the northern lights from Door County.
I believe I was going to say that with Voyageurs National Park too. If you go at the right time of year, you
bet
can
you're right.
potentially see it. And
Yeah.
usually this is not like the case. It's just there are occasionally times we'll see in the news that like it will reach the United States, that the northern lights, other than Alaska, because they'll see it a lot more frequently.
Right.
But we will sometimes get in the news, especially in the winter months, that there is a chance you can see the northern lights in certain places in the United States, including Door County, Voyageurs National Park, places like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the Midwest.
That's the Midwest, guys. We're tackling the Southeast next.
I think the Southeast
So my
next.
home turf, so where I'm from, and I visited quite a lot of the Southeast, so I'm excited about that. And then the
Awesome.
Northeast.
Yeah, and I am not nearly well as traveled in the Southeast.
Well as traveled.
As well traveled.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Swallow the cow to swallow the fly.
okay. All right, guys. That is it for today. Those are our top things to do in the Midwest. Let us know your thoughts and what your top things would be in the Midwest. You can always reach us on Twitter at WWHoneymoon, Instagram at Worldwide Honeymoon, or email cat@worldwidehoneymoon.com. But thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to rate and review our podcast. It takes less than a few minutes and really helps other people find us. Also, if you're enjoying this awesome free information on both the blog and podcast, when you're booking your next trip, head over to worldwidehoneymoon.com/resources and use the links provided. We earn a small commission at no cost to you when you book through these links, and these are all brands and companies we know, love, and use, like Skyscanner for finding the best flight prices, World Nomads for the best travel insurance, TripAdvisor for hotel bookings and reviews, and even Amazon for all of your travel purchases.
Thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Wherever you are, wherever you go, remember to make every day a worldwide honeymoon.